everyone! Welcome to Dangan Dive, a fans for fans podcast where we talk about all things Danganronpa and go as detailed as possible into its lore, storylines, characters, etc. I'm your host, Melody Snowflake, and it's really great to have you for this episode. Have hope. Never give up. Don't give in to despair. These are words we hear every now and then, but that we don't always find easy to follow. Hope, not giving up, not giving in to sadness or hardship or despair, it just seems so impossible at times. It just seems ridiculous. I mean, look at you. Look at the world around you. Look at everything that's happening. How could you possibly not feel upset about it? How could you possibly still remain hopeful and tell yourself it'll get better? Well, that's what one character from Danganronpa did. His name is Makoto Naegi, and he actually is one of the strongest characters in the series. At the beginning, Makoto is just a regular high school student. He doesn't even have a proper ultimate. He was simply selected through a lottery to join Hope's Peak Academy's Ultimate Class 78. And, just didn't really have an actual talent of his own except for the title of Ultimate Lucky Student. Unlike Nagito, who we will talk about in a later episode, Makoto's luck seems to be relatively that of a normal person. His interests are also that of a normal person, and there seems to be nothing really extraordinary about him. If anything, he seems a little bit timid at first. Not timid in the I'm scared of everything way, but he just seems really soft-spoken and doesn't really seem to do anything too extraordinary. In fact, he's too normal, even to the point where some consider him boring. But by the end of Trigger Happy Havoc, Makoto rose from all of that to become the ultimate hope, as Kyoko put it. And why is that? Well, let's have a look at Makoto's character arc throughout Trigger Happy Havoc and beyond. At the beginning, Makoto entered Hope's Peak Academy as a regular student. He's nervous and he's thinking about how it would be like to face all the other ultimates, who he doesn't think he can live up to since he's just a regular guy, really. His interests are average, his abilities are average, everything about him is just too average, at least that's what he thinks. As the story progresses, Makoto realizes that he's trapped in a killing game situation and watches one by one as his friends fall. The first person to die is Sayaka Maizono, someone who was very close to him, someone who became very close to him really quickly. In fact, she was possibly his crush, if you can't already tell from the way he was thinking about her throughout the entirety of Chapter 1. He was really, really affected by her death and promised that he would never forget anyone who died, that he would keep their memories and honor them forever, no matter how much it hurt. He couldn't just move on because all these people meant a lot to him. This shows that Makoto is extremely loyal to his friends and just doesn't want to let them go, even after death. He doesn't want to just forget them or let their sacrifices be in vain. He doesn't want to just leave their memories in the past. As the stories go on and more people die, Makoto felt himself fall deeper and deeper into sadness. Because who wouldn't be? Every single one of your classmates are dying or killing each other or both. In fact, everyone who killed ended up dying anyway, so basically, everyone was just dying, one by one, and all of this took place in a span of a few days. Imagine just getting to know your classmates, starting to get fond of them, and them dying right in front of you. You have to discover their bodies, investigate the crime scenes in which they were murdered, and watch the perpetrators get executed in front of you. This is enough to break the spirits of anybody. This is enough to make anyone fall into permanent despair or depression. But Makoto never succumbed to that. He was upset by what happened. He was extremely saddened, in fact. He was always shocked and horrified every time a new body was discovered. But he never stopped moving forward. He never stopped finding the truth of every case. He never stopped trying to help the rest survive. He never stopped trying to solve the mystery of their situation, despite how dire things got. Some may say that this is just because of survival. It's the only way to survive. But Makoto didn't just want to survive. He wanted everyone to live, not just himself. It wasn't just doing it so that he could live. He was doing it so that everyone else could live too. He cared for everyone, which is evident by the fact that he never wanted to let anyone go. And even when they were alive, you could tell that he didn't want anyone to get hurt. And he never stopped trying to figure out the mystery. He worked with Kyoko several times to try and unravel the mystery of Hope's Peak Academy and to unravel the truth of their situation. Sometimes he found himself observing things that he wasn't sure whether or not he should even disclose to the others yet, especially Kyoko, because he didn't want to jump to any conclusions. He wanted to gather more information first. This is especially true about the thing with Sakura possibly being the traitor. He observed Sakura fighting Monokuma at the end of chapter 3, heard some of the words that were exchanged between them, and started thinking, hang on, this is kind of strange. Is Sakura the traitor? But even though he considered telling Kyoko, he didn't, because he didn't want to jump to any conclusions. Of course, Kyoko wasn't very happy with him about that, and I can't blame her, but that's a topic for a future episode. Makoto still wanted to help, though, so he continued investigating even without telling Kyoko, which led to her getting short with him later, but ultimately led to them uncovering more truths together and becoming closer. By chapter 6 of the story, Makoto had been brought to an all-time low, quite literally, because he fell into the dumpster chute of the school. He basically believed Kyoko over his usual pursuit of the truth, even though he knew that she was clearly lying, and as a result got executed in the process, or at least the mastermind tried to execute him. But by some miracle, Alter Ego, who had survived the whole, destroying of the laptop thing that happened in chapter 4, because, it's an AI and it doesn't just live in one computer, was able to stop the execution, and Makoto fell straight into the bottomless dumpster pits of the school, where Kyoko came to rescue him. He didn't really know what to do once he was down there, but the moment he was down there, he immediately tried to get back up again. He never gave up, not even after he was brought all the way down there, not even after things got so dire, not even after he almost literally died. He went back up the ladder with Kyoko once she found him and rescued him, and together the two of them unraveled the mystery of the school at last. The rest also helped, though they kind of got manipulated by the letters and all that Junko left out. So, they weren't exactly trustful of each other. But Makoto, despite finding the whole thing rather fishy, did not mistrust any of his classmates even then. And he continued pushing for the truth until the very end. Near the end of the final trial, Makoto pushed for everyone to accept hope for a brighter future instead of giving in to despair. And he succeeded. Once they learned the truth of the outside world, things were looking grim for them, because once Junko died, everything would be shut down in the school, and they would have no choice but to leave the building into a dangerous, unknown, polluted world where everything was chaotic and just full of despair. But despite how dire the circumstances are, despite how it seemed hopeless, despite how it just seemed like they were escaping from one despair into another, Makoto did not give up. Makoto said, "We can do it. I'm sure there is a way. We can go out there." After everything he had been through, it would have been easy for him to succumb to hopelessness, and to despair. But he did not. In fact, all those struggles only seemed to make him stronger. He started out as someone who was just an average teenager, but now he was motivating everyone, telling everyone not to give up, telling everyone to keep hope alive, and helping everyone to find the strength to go out into the outside world and make a difference. Once they were all outside, Makoto and the other survivors of the killing school life were taken in by the Future Foundation, who helped them all regain their memories. Once that happened, Makoto and the others joined the Future Foundation officially to try and bring peace back to the world. Soon, they got wind of the fact that some of the ultimate despairs were still alive. Instead of deciding to exterminate them like some of the Future Foundation members wanted, Makoto had another idea. He believed that with the right strategy, he could reverse the brainwashing that Junko Enoshima had done to these ultimate despairs. And so he decided to put them into the New World program, which is a virtual reality program that was designed to help rehabilitate people. Makoto and his friends went against the Future Foundation's back and carried out this plan in hopes that it would work. This shows that Makoto is willing to believe in the good in others and to take risks to do what he believes to be right. Despite some complications, it all worked out in the end, except Makoto got found out and punished, was about to be punished anyway, for disobeying the Future Foundation's rules. Except that entire punishment turned into a nightmare when he, Aoi Asahina, Kyoko Girigiri, and some of the other members of the Future Foundation, along with Ryota Mitarai, found themselves trapped in yet another building. They were thrown into yet another killing game, though this time not run by Junko Enoshima, but one of the members of the Future Foundation, in an attempt to motivate Ryota Mitarai to use his hope video to reverse the despair. During this second killing game, Makoto could have easily fallen back into that feeling of hopelessness that he had during the first killing game. I mean, people were once again falling one by one around him. It's very reminiscent of what happened back at Hope's Peak Academy, even though the rules of the game were slightly different. But Makoto didn't. From the very beginning, he was trying to get everyone to work together and to trust each other and to trust in him. For obvious reasons, everyone found it hard to do so, but Makoto chose to believe in all of them, even going as far as revealing what his unique weak point is, because they all had these bracelets that would activate a poison if they did a forbidden action. He revealed this forbidden action to everyone, trusting that they would not hurt him, because he told them that if they wanted to kill him, they could just get him to run in the hallways, and that's it. And if he was genuinely afraid of them, there was no reason for him to tell them all that. He told them because he believed that they would not want to do it, and to also get them to trust him, because they didn't trust him at all. Despite everything, Makoto chose to believe in those who did not trust him, believe in those who could kill him at any second, because he believed that working together and keeping hope and not giving up were the best ways to success. At the end of the day, everything worked out for the best, and everything worked out in his favor. Makoto's hope paid off in a way, because without his hope, the others wouldn't have been motivated. The remaining people who survived both killing school lives, well, if you can even call the second one a killing school life, both killing games, he was able to motivate both killing game survivors to do the right thing and to strive forward and to do their best for the future of the world. His hope even got him to believe in other people who weren't supposed to be believed in, at least not according to the Future Foundation. His belief in others was what led him to go and rescue the students who were in the New World program after everything had been ruined by the AI Junko Enoshima. He led Kyoko and Byakuya into the game, and when they did not show up at first, he stated that he believed that they will come, that he trusted them, and that he also trusted the students who were in the program, that they were going to change and that they were okay. Whether or not he outright said this, I genuinely can't remember, but that was exactly what he was giving off. He also holds a certain sentimental value to those he loves, as can be seen by the fact that he set 11037 as the password for opening the door in the New World program. Makoto is definitely one of the strongest characters, someone who is able to keep hope, who never gives up, who believes in others in the face of the greatest despair and mistrust. He is definitely someone who isn't average or weak or unremarkable, because he has emotional strength unlike most of us have in this real world. And that's what makes Makoto Naegi such an amazing character. He could have given in to despair any time, but he didn't. He could have mistrusted everyone, but he didn't. He could have done something drastic, but he didn't. Makoto stayed strong throughout everything that was thrown at him, and in the end, he became the headmaster of the reopened Hope's Peak Academy, which I think is pretty fitting, as he is the symbol of hope. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Dangan Dive. In the next episode, we will be discussing Sayaka Maizono, who is quite an interesting character, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thank you again for watching and have a wonderful day.